Welcome into the Ravens Rundown. We've got some news to get to. Harrison Graham here from Chat Sports bringing you today's news from my house because it's early on a Saturday morning. But this is what we do, and this is why you subscribe to the Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports, because when big news happens, when wild rumors are circulating, we're going to bring you a video about it, whether we're in the Chat Sports studios or we are at home. So please hit that subscribe button. Producer Jeremy Chuggs is working hard to bring you guys some videos. He cooked up a quick script for me, and I am ready to go. So the news of the day for the Baltimore Ravens, Calais Campbell is re-signing with Baltimore on a 2-year deal. Now, there was some chatter that he might decide to retire, but he has decided to come back and chase a Super Bowl ring. Says there's unfinished business in Baltimore, so he agrees to a 2-year deal, $12.5 million up to $16.5 million in incentives and total money, depending on if certain thresholds are met, according to Adam Schefter and other sources. So before we break down this signing in further detail, grade the signing A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know in the comments how you feel about Calais Campbell being back on a 2-year contract. Now, like I said, 2-year deal, $12.5 million. That's the base, up to $16.5 million in guaranteed money. And this is an important signing because Campbell, he's getting up there. He's 35 now, but you missed out on Zadarius Smith. You chased Bobby Wagner. You missed both of those guys. So bringing back a key defender was going to be important for this Ravens defense. And Calais Campbell, might be past his prime, but he is still a good player. Hopefully he's a little more productive in the sack department this year. Last year had just 1.5 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 49 tackles as a whole, but he's a good run defender. He's a good leader, a defensive presence as a whole. So I think that bringing him back is a good move. Would I have loved Zadarius Smith? Absolutely. That would have been very, very nice, but that wasn't in the cards. He ended up heading elsewhere. But I think this is a nice little recovery for Baltimore, who has been fairly quiet in free agency, if we're being completely honest. Haven't made a ton of major moves outside of Marcus Williams. Of course, signed a few other pieces as well. But after that Williams signing, we kind of talked about the front four, and now you bring back Calais Campbell. 2 years, $12.5 million up to $16.5 million in guaranteed money. So you look at this defensive line now. You've got Justin Madabuke, the defensive tackle out of Texas A&M from a couple years ago. He's still got, improvement that he needs to show there. Michael Pierce comes over from Minnesota. That was another addition that I like, bringing him back after the Ravens drafted him a few years back. And then Derek Wolfe, who could be a cap casualty. We'll see what happens there now that Campbell is back. But those are some other names to keep in mind as we progress forward here with the Ravens in free agency. And, of course, with the NFL draft just about less than 3 weeks away, actually. 3 weeks from today will be rounds 4 through 7. Answer this question for me. Is Calais Campbell still a quality defensive tackle? Type G for good, type W for he's washed. I certainly still think he's good. I don't think he's great, but I certainly don't think he's washed. I think at worst he's a quality rotation guy, but they paid him to be a starter, 2 years, $15 million. So type G for good or type W for wash. All right, a couple final thoughts on Campbell, and then we'll shift to a rumor around a running back that the Ravens have reportedly shown interest in. 2 years, $12.5 million, $16.5 million in total. Again, this Ravens secondary is in a really good spot, so getting some help on the front was going to be important, and I think getting Campbell in here is a good thing. I think it's good overall. I would like to get another piece coming off the edge on this defense. We'll see if that happens. But for now, Campbell back on a 2-year, $16.5 million in total money if incentives are met. Before we jump to this rumor around one Melvin Gordon, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel, whether it's myself, Harrison Graham, Tom Downey, Mitchell Renz, Chase Sr. We're bringing you the latest and greatest Ravens news and rumors here on the Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. So go ahead and subscribe. We'll continue to have you guys covered throughout the offseason. And hey, Draft coming up. If you want more draft videos, hit that subscribe button. Okay, let's shift to Melvin Gordon rumors, as Ian Rappaport said yesterday, or maybe it was late Thursday, I can't remember, Friday morning, Thursday night, that Baltimore and Gordon had engaged in discussions. And look, the Ravens have a few running backs, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Tyson Williams, Justice Hill, but most of those guys coming off injury. Remember, I mean, Baltimore really had to shuffle last year because a lot of those guys got hurt before the season and a couple got hurt during the season. So Melvin Gordon would be a very interesting piece, and he's quietly been just very productive for a very long time. I heard a stat the other day. Melvin Gordon is tied for third all time in consecutive seasons with 9 or more touchdowns. Tied with Marshall Faulk, 6 straight seasons with 9 or more. That's pretty impressive. If he comes in here as a part of a rotation and, gets 10 to 12, 10 to 15 carries a game and get you 8 to 10 touchdowns, yes, I mean, I'm definitely down for that. Now, ideally, J.K. Dobbins comes back and is healthy and picks up where he left off his rookie season, where he looked like this might be one of the premier running backs in the National Football League. But if you're concerned about workload there, bringing in Gordon makes a lot of sense. Gus Edwards can be your just, short yardage ground and pound guy. And then, maybe Justice Hill and Tyson Williams are not a part of this thing. But a trio of Dobbins, Gordon, and Edwards, I find very, very intriguing. And I quite frankly have always liked Melvin Gordon. Last year, kind of splitting carries with Javonte Williams, the rookie in Denver, 203 carries, 918 yards, 4.5 average. That's a very good number. And 8 rushing touchdowns and had another touchdown receiving to keep that 9 touchdown streak going. So I'm interested. I would like Melvin Gordon. I think that he would be a piece that would help this offense out, especially if, like we all expect, this is going to be a run-first football team here in the 2022 NFL season. So again, Ian Rappaport reporting that Baltimore has engaged in discussions with Melvin Gordon. We'll see if a deal gets done in the coming days. Should the Ravens sign Melvin Gordon? Get your votes in down in the comment section. Type S for sign or type P for pass. I'd like to see it happen, especially if it's a team-friendly deal, maybe a 1-year deal, $5 million, something like that. Maybe built in some incentives as well. I think that would be a good deal for both parties. So type S for sign or type P for pass. Let us know if you want the Ravens to sign Melvin Gordon. All right, so there you have it. That is today's show here on the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. I've been your host, Harrison Graham. Calais Campbell back on a 2-year deal, $12.5 million up to $16.5 million if incentives are met. Plus, Melvin Gordon and the Ravens reportedly have engaged in discussions. So we'll see if the Ravens strike a deal with the veteran running back in NFL free agency. I've been your host, Harrison Graham. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please subscribe so we can do more videos here on the Ravens Rundown. I would like nothing more than to do just that. And we'll see you soon here on Chat Sports.